Discover the heartwarming moment when Ginger's skateboard wish was revealed by Mama and Papa. A life-changing surprise awaits. Ginger's heart raced as fireworks burst above the small town of Maplewood, illuminating the faces of friends and neighbors who had gathered for the annual festival. She shot glances toward the makeshift skate ramp. Still a world away from the top of her dreams, her love of skateboarding fueled by hope and determination. With each flicker of the sky, she could almost feel the wheels beneath her feet, finally breaking free from the burdens of her family's struggles. Every morning, Ginger watched her parents, Mama and Papa, serve breakfast at their diner with an unwavering dedication. Their laughter and warmth filled the cramped corners of the diner, but she could sense the tightness in their smiles, the worry shadowing their eyes. Papa's recent health scare weighed heavy on her heart. It was like a storm cloud over their normally sunny lives. With every dollar they earned, news of grapes turning sour crept closer. She wanted to escape, to soar on her skateboard and show the world what Maplewood could be. The skateboard championship was just around the corner, and Ginger fired up with dreams as bright as the fireworks. Yet, that inner spark dimmed with the thought of the new board she desired. She felt a pang of guilt. Her heart ached. Could she ever ask for something when there was so much on her parents' plates? The world outside felt alive, but inside her, a conflict brewed like a pot left on the stove too long. As dusk fell, the festival buzzed. Laughter bubbled up like soda fizzing out of a can. Wishing her dreams could fuse with reality, she mentally tucked away the yearning for a skateboard. Each night, she listened to Mama and Papa, who hummed softly as they calculated pennies. Those sweet moments of family warmth clashed painfully with their increasing financial strain. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The night of the festival had turned electric as fireworks split the sky, bursting like dreams made real. Just as the last booms echoed, Mama and Papa stepped forward, holding something wrapped in a crisp, shiny bow, a skateboard. Ginger's breath caught. How could they have known? But then she felt a tightening in her chest, mixed with overwhelming love and guilt. Would this gift bring joy or just heighten their burden? Would she dare to step forward into her dreams, even as her heart fought the weight of responsibility? As the crowd murmured and looked on, faces of hope reflected back at her, each one holding stories of struggle and perseverance. Could one small act of love change the narrative? Ginger stood nervously, the joyous anticipation boiling around her as the townsfolk debated the merit and meaning of her newfound gift. Would she risk it all, or would she let fear hold her back? The moment hung in the air, leaving everyone breathless. What would she choose? Ginger's heart pounded in her chest, the skateboard now a tangible presence in her life, but also a heavy weight in her mind. The wrapping sparkled under the light of the fireworks, capturing attention as brightly as her own swirling emotions. As Mama and Papa smiled, hope flickered in their eyes, mingling with the unease brewing inside her. The crowd held its breath, the air thick with anticipation. Ginger hesitated, the tug of her heartstrings pulling her in different directions. Could she truly embrace this gift? The simple joy of a new skateboard felt colossal, yet the shadows of her family's struggles cast doubts. Go on, Ginger. Open it. A voice from the crowd called out, snapping her back to the moment. That encouragement sent a ripple of warmth through her. Could this be the moment she had waited for? The moment her dreams could finally start to take shape? With trembling fingers she reached for the bow. It was a flicker of joy that ignited her spirit, but the hesitation lingered. What if it added stress to her parents' already full plates? What if she wasn't good enough? Each new thought weighed heavily on her heart, creating a tight knot of anxiety. Ginger, Mama called softly, her voice full of love yet laced with caution. We wanted you to have this, honey. We know how much skating means to you. Ginger could see the fierce love in Mama's eyes, the understanding behind Papa's smile. They had worked so hard, balancing the burdens of life, and yet here they were, wanting her happiness. She swallowed hard, her throat tight. Maybe it was fine to want something good. Maybe, just maybe, this was a sign to shed the weight of worry and embrace the joy that was within reach. She nodded slowly, closing her eyes for a brief moment. Taking a deep breath, she unwrapped the skateboard with a reverence that felt almost sacred. When it finally lay bare beneath the shimmering lights, vibrant colors dancing across the deck, her heart soared. The grip tape was rough under her fingers, promising countless adventures and memories. The crowd erupted in cheers as Ginger lifted the skateboard high, an unspoken triumph glistening in her eyes. She could feel the love of her parents behind her, and the support of the community surged through her. But then a sudden thought struck her mind, sharper than any edge of the board. What if she had the skateboard but the championship was too far out of reach? What if, in pursuing her dreams, she failed? Just as those worries threatened to plunge her back into uncertainty, a voice broke through the noise. "You can't fail if you're trying, Ginger." It was her best friend, Jay, shouting from the front row with a wide grin plastered across his face. Relief washed over her. What if the support of family and friends was enough to give her wings? Drifting away from her worries, she felt the energy of the festival invigorating her. Her eyes sparkled as she looked up, catching glimpses of fireworks bursting like colorful dreams above. Perhaps tonight marked not only the unveiling of a skateboard, but the beginning of a journey brimming with promise. "Are you going to use it?" Mama asked, laughter bubbling in her voice. Ginger turned to her parents, adrenaline rushing through her veins. "Of course. I'm going to practice every day." With that, she positioned herself on the skateboard, feeling its balance beneath her, embracing the exhilaration that surged from her toes to her heart. As she pushed off into the night, gliding forward with newfound determination, she left her fears behind. The crowd parted, cheering her on as she carved through the light and darkness. This was her moment, her leap into the unknown. But just as she felt the freedom of flight, a sudden sharp pain jolted her, throwing her off balance. Ginger hit the ground hard, the cheers silencing into gasps. The night slipped from her grasp, and suddenly everything felt uncertain again. As Ginger lay there stunned and breathless, a new question stirred within her. Would this fall hold her back, or would it be the first step of a greater victory? Ginger blinked, the world spinning in a blur of colors and sounds. The cheers turned into murmurs, and her heart felt like it was trapped in a vice, pounding against her ribcage. She lay there for a moment processing the shock. The pain radiated from her wrist, a sharp reminder that the thrill of the moment could just as easily turn to fear. "Ginger, are you okay?" Jay's voice broke through the haze. His face was close, filled with concern, the lights of the festival gleaming in his wide eyes. Ginger forced herself to breathe. She nodded slowly, trying to shake off the dizziness. A rush of bodies surrounded her, parents, friends, neighbors. They hovered as if hoping their presence would magically mend her. The community felt heavy and warm, and yet the weight of disappointment loomed over her. The skateboard, the hopes and dreams attached to it, felt like a heavy anchor in that moment. "Mama? Papa?" Her voice wobbled, still rattled from the fall. She desperately searched for them through the swelling crowd. When their faces emerged, the worry etched on them made her heart ache. "We're here, honey." Mama reached for her. Ginger's South parents knelt close, their hands brushing her hair away from her forehead, their love palpable. "It's okay, Ginger. Just take your time," Papa whispered, his voice soothing. "Can you sit up?" Ginger felt the tears prick at her eyes. Could she really do this? After that fall, what if the follow-up was far worse than the first attempt? What if her dreams crumbled before they could even begin? She took a deep breath and shifted, pushing herself up carefully. The pain surged in her wrist, a reminder of her fragile state. As she sat on the cool pavement, she caught the glimpse of her skateboard lying a few feet away, waiting. The thought of it became both a promise and a challenge. "I'm okay," she said, shaky but determined. "I want to try again." "Mama, I don't know." The uncertainty dripped from her voice like rain against a window. What if she shattered her sparkle under the weight of expectations again? "You can do this, Ginger," Mama encouraged, brushing her fingers against her cheek. "It's about getting back on, not just the fall." Ginger's heart swelled, the words striking a deep chord. Then she thought of all those late-night practices, the time spent dreaming and planning, and the laughter shared with Jay. What they had talked about, the futures they had imagined filled with the rush of wind and the thrill of speed, none of that would come easily if she didn't keep trying. Jay's voice broke through her thoughts. "You got this, Ginger. Just remember, it's not about being perfect, It's about having fun. With the support surrounding her, she felt the flicker of her courage rekindle. Adrenaline pumped through her veins again. She slowly stood, balancing on her good leg, her fingers gripping the skateboard. "I'm going to get back out there," she declared. Adrenaline coupled with joy as a wave of whispered encouragement washed over her. The cheering began anew, growing louder. It felt like a symphony of belief, the kind that lifted her spirit higher. She positioned the board under her feet, feeling its worn grip. She took a moment to gather herself, her thoughts spinning in a rapid whirl. This could go either way, her victory or her downfall. But at this moment what mattered was the effort, the push forward. Ginger took a deep breath, heart racing, and was about to push off again when a shadow caught her eye. The other skaters were all watching intently. One of them, an older girl known in the scene, rested her board nearby and said, "Hey, this is just practice. We all wipe out, but the winners get back up. You can too." Ginger felt a wave of gratitude and determination wash over her. "Okay, here goes," she whispered, and with the crowd cheering her on, she kicked off the ground again. But as she propelled herself forward, the uncertainty remained. Would she soar or stumble once more? As the board glided beneath her, she marveled at how quickly everything could change. One moment you're hopeful, the next you're picking yourself up again. Would this be the moment she proved herself, or a misstep that held her back forever? Ginger pushed off, the board gliding beneath her feet with a smoothness that felt almost magical. Wind whipped through her hair, and for a heartbeat she was flying. The cheers of the crowd swelled, an electric wave of support that surged through her. But as she turned her gaze forward, doubt bubbled back up. The world around her blurred with the speed, the colorful festival backdrop fading as her focus narrowed in on the path ahead. She felt a tickle of fear at the corners of her thoughts. What if something went wrong again? But before she could think any further, the familiar rotation of her body on the board sent a rush of adrenaline coursing through her veins. She pushed down with her foot, gaining speed, the happiness of her friend's encouragement lifting her spirits. "Go, Ginger. You can do it." Jay's voice rang out like a victory bell, and she smiled, feeling a warmth in her chest. As she approached the small ramp set up for tricks, her heart did a little flip of its own. She remembered Mama's words, the importance of getting back on and trying again. She would not let fear dictate her. Ginger concentrated on the ramp. With a determined kick, she launched herself off the edge. The air whipped around her, and for a moment, she was suspended in time. The festival, the crowd, everything fading away until it was just her and the exhilaration of flying. But then gravity took over. She landed with a thud that rattled her bones, her board skidding out from under her. Time stretched as she braced herself for impact. "Scoot, Ginger," Jay shouted, his voice slicing through the air. She hit the pavement hard, her other wrist twisting awkwardly under her weight. Pain shot through her body, but she quickly rolled onto her back, gasping for breath. The cheers faded into a dull roar as her heart sank back into her stomach. Ginger barely registered the crowd gathering around her again, their faces a mix of concern and hope. Her parents were back beside her, their features drawn tight in worry. "Ginger, honey, you need to rest," Mama said, her voice soft but firm. "You've already shown so much courage. Maybe I should stop." Ginger stammered, tears pooling in her eyes. The weight of her dreams felt heavier than ever, pressing down like a thick fog. "Don't say that," Papa interjected, kneeling to meet her gaze. "You've come so far. Falling is just part of it. It's how you get back up that matters." Jay nodded beside him, his eyes shimmering with encouragement. "You're stronger than you realize. We believe in you." Ginger felt the tide of emotions rise within her, a swell of both fear and hope crashing together. Their unwavering faith flickered like a light against her gloom. How could she let herself stop now? "But what if I keep falling? What if I can't do it?" she whispered, the words tumbling out before she could hold them back. "Then we will keep picking you up," Mama replied softly, her fingers brushing Ginger's hair as if to fortify her. "You are never alone in this. You have us and everyone here believing in you." It was like a spell broke. Suddenly she felt emboldened, an energy pulsing through her like the vibrant music of the festival. Ginger understood that every fall was just a step toward her triumph. It was in the act of trying she found her strength. Taking a deep breath, she nodded, her spirit ignited. "All right, I'll try again." The crowd erupted again, a wave of applause flooding over her. Ginger grasped her skateboard, a symbol of every challenge and every dream she'd encountered. As she stood up shakily, she felt the solid encouragement of her friends surrounding her. She positioned her feet, feeling the familiar groove and grip of her board. But one thought hung heavy: what if the next step was where everything changed? With the crowd's cheers echoing in her ears, she took a deep breath and pushed off once more. But this time the ground shifted unexpectedly beneath her, and a gasp of disbelief rippled through the crowd. What was coming next? Ginger's heart raced as she readied herself for whatever lay ahead. As Ginger pushed off again, the uneven surface beneath her feet sent a shock through her body. The board shifted, and for a split second, she felt her heart drop into her stomach. Fear whispered in her ear, threatening to drown her in uncertainty. But she had made a promise to herself, to her family, and to every friend who believed in her. She would not let doubt win this time. "Remember, Ginger." Mama's voice echoed through the chaos, a reminder of their earlier conversation. "You have what it takes." With that, a surge of determination replaced her fear. Ginger steadied herself, digging her toes into the grip of the board, her body instinctively finding balance. She felt the support of her crowd, a chorus of voices cheering her on. It was a propelling force spurring her forward. The ramp loomed ahead again, but this time her stance was resolute. She wasn't just overcoming a trick or rallying against a fall. She was embracing possibility. With a fast, powerful kick, she launched herself into the air, the world below blurring once more. Time suspended, and for that instant, she was free, soaring through the air as if nothing could hold her down. But just as quickly reality came crashing back. She approached the landing with a split-second decision to adjust. She remembered her lessons, the countless practice sessions in the backyard, the hours spent perfecting each move. Every instance of falling became a stepping stone. As she touched down, Ginger's board wobbled but did not slip away this time. Confidence surged through her veins. The cheers grew louder, enveloping her in warmth. She grinned, feeling the thrill of victory dance on her skin. Then the unexpected happened. As she neared the edge of the ramp, a sharp crack echoed through the festival sounds. The noise rippled through the crowd and confused gasps followed. Ginger glanced down just as her board snapped beneath her feet. Time halted, a heavy silence replaced the cheers, and her heart thundered in her chest. She hadn't seen that coming. She braced herself for the fall, for the pain she knew could follow. But it didn't come entirely. Instead, she lunged forward, her body responding instinctively. She rolled, managing to absorb most of the fall. As she came to a stop, the world around her erupted into chaos. The crowd surged forward, concern painted across the faces she had come to cherish. "Ginger!" Mama cried out, her voice laced with anxiety. Suddenly everything felt magnified. Would she get up again? Would she be okay? Rising shakily to her feet, Ginger took a deep breath. Adrenaline thrummed in her body as her pulse raced. She was alive and standing. While the world felt fuzzy at the edges, she could see the faces of her friends and family waiting with bated breath. The concern in their eyes was palpable, but so was their love. "I'm okay," she shouted, fighting to make her voice steady. The crowd exhaled collectively, a flood of relief washing over them. The support surged back, like a tide of affection lifting her spirits higher. But just as she thought she could calm down, she noticed something glimmering near her fallen board. It wasn't just a broken skateboard. Nestled in the shattered pieces was a charm her parents had always worn, a tiny silver heart. A gift from Mama and Papa, it had always been a token of their bond, a reflection of love and support in times of uncertainty. Ginger picked it up, the warmth of it filling her with boldness. She looked to her parents, their expressions straddling worry and pride. That heart reminded her of them, of their faith that had helped shape her. "Ginger," Papa said, stepping closer, "it's just a skateboard. You can fix it, just like you can get back up." She nodded, feeling that familiar wave of courage wash over her again. She understood now it was not about the falls, the breaks, or the tricks. It was about the heart, the connections binding them through thick and thin. As she turned her gaze toward the ramp once more, her thoughts stirred with possibilities. If she could get back on her board, what else could she achieve? What if this was just the beginning? With that, she tucked the charm into her pocket and inhaled deep, determination rising inside her ready to take her next step. But would the next leap be a jump toward another challenge? Or could it lead her somewhere she never imagined? Ginger took a moment to catch her breath, her heart still racing. The crowd had begun to settle, but their energy crackled in the air around her, a mix of excitement and relief. She felt their eyes on her, filled with unspoken encouragement. The silver charm in her pocket felt like a secret promise, one that urged her to be brave. She stepped back to her board, cradling the broken pieces as though they held her dreams. The board felt heavy in her hands, but there was a surprising lightness in her heart. This wasn't the end, she thought. It was just a moment, a hiccup in her journey. "Hey, Ginger." A familiar voice broke through her thoughts. It was Danny, her best friend, who rushed over with an expression that mirrored her own excitement mixed with concern. "That was amazing. You were soaring. And then, well, wow." He rubbed the back of his neck, hesitating as he assessed the damage. "I'm all right," she reassured, offering him half a smile. "Just a little bummed about my board." She looked down, fingers tracing the splintered wood. A part of her wished so desperately to fix it right then and there, to get back to flying again. "But hey," Danny continued, a spark of mischief lighting up his face, "how about we try rebuilding it together? With the right tools and a few YouTube videos, we can bring this baby back to life." A wave of hope surged within her. "Really, you think so?" Ginger's eyes brightened. The idea of restoring her skateboard filled her with purpose. Perhaps this would be a new adventure, one they'd tackle together. "Definitely. Plus it'll be fun. We'll make it even better than before." His enthusiasm was contagious, and Ginger felt it infuse her spirit. As the crowd began to disperse, she could feel the support wrapping around her like an invisible blanket. It was the love from family and friends that truly healed. She spotted her parents approaching, still wearing those concerned expressions. "See," Papa said, eyes twinkling with relief and pride. "You're already thinking ahead. That's the mindset of a champion." Mama hugged Ginger tight, her voice steady yet soft. "I'm so proud of you. Your strength today, it means so much. Just remember, it's okay to stumble as long as you keep getting back up." With that, Ginger felt the weight of the charm in her pocket again. It was more than just a piece of jewelry. It was a reminder of their bond, a symbol of resilience. A spark ignited in her heart, the notion that she not only had the power to fix her board, but to create her journey anew each time she faced a challenge. Later, as they gathered around the kitchen table with tools and blueprints and the smell of snacks wafting through the air, Ginger thought about all the tricks she wanted to learn, the ones she hadn't even tried yet. She chuckled, feeling the excitement of a fresh start, a new chapter waiting to be written. "All right, let us do this," she announced, and the laughter and chatter of support filled her home. But what if rebuilding the board turned into a journey filled with surprises beyond her wildest dreams? Would this be a way not just to soar again, but to discover an entire new path she never expected? The next morning, the sun peeked through the kitchen window, casting warmth over the cluttered table. Tools lay scattered, blueprints rustled gently in the breeze, and the smell of pancakes filled the air. Ginger, still buzzing from her plan, bounced on her feet, glancing over at Danny, who was flipping through a video on his phone. "So, the first step is to figure out what we need to replace," he said, eyes sparkling with enthusiasm. "You're sure you want this board better than ever?" "Definitely. Let us make it unique. I want it to reflect who I am, you know?" Ginger replied, her heart pounding with excitement. She felt the charm in her pocket reminding her of her steadfast determination. As they emptied the broken board's remaining parts onto the table, Ginger revealed a dreamy idea. "What if we painted a bright blue and add some designs? Maybe even a phoenix?" Danny raised an eyebrow, impressed. "That would be epic. It symbolizes rising from the ashes, just like you're doing now." They both snickered at a silly thought, a skateboard reborn like a mythical bird, and the laughter echoed around the room. But as they worked, there was a moment of silence that hung in the air. A pause where the excitement transformed into something deeper. Ginger looked at the broken pieces again. "Danny, what do you think makes something feel finished?" She had always thought once things were complete, they were set in stone, but now she wondered if that notion was different. Did her board need to feel whole, or could fixing it be a journey in itself? "I think it's tough to define," he replied thoughtfully, placing screws carefully into a small container. "Almost like us. We're always evolving, right?" Just like when you push through a fall. You learn and then push yourself back up. So, maybe we don't need to be perfect to be whole. His words settled in Ginger's heart, and she felt a swell of emotion as she remembered all those afternoons spent together, learning and growing. Every scrape, every triumph, built her resilience and maybe even her character. That evening, as they slathered paint on the board, the laughter grew louder, filling the corners of the kitchen. Ginger's parents joined in, sharing funny stories about their own childhood adventures. It was all about connection, laughter, and the little mishaps that colored their memories. Just as they admired their work with pride, Mama pulled out the charm that had been resting on her bracelet. It glimmered in the evening light. You know, this charm isn't just a pretty trinket. It was given to me when I faced a huge challenge. It's about remembering to be brave and creative just like you are now. Ginger's heart swelled. This was more than her skateboard, it was about their bond. With a fresh board she could soar higher. But it wasn't just her journey. It was theirs. They were rebuilding her skateboard together, intertwining their hopes and dreams. With a soft smile she turned to Danny. Thank you for being on this journey with me. Always. We're just getting started. As they stood back to admire their colorful creation, a sense of possibility washed over Ginger. But what if this experience opened even more doors for her beyond skateboarding? Could it lead her to discover new facets of herself? Little did she know, a surprise awaited just around the corner, ready to test her resilience once more. The next day, Ginger woke up feeling a little different. The sun streamed through the window, and the vibrant colors on her skateboard seemed to sparkle with potential. She could hardly wait to take it outside and ride. The anticipation bubbled inside her like a fizzy drink ready to burst. After breakfast, with her new board tucked under her arm, she walked over to Danny's house. He was waiting outside, his face beaming as he spotted her. That looks amazing, Ginger. Thanks. I can't wait to try it out. She felt the breeze tousle her hair as they both headed towards the park. Once they arrived, the skate park was buzzing. Kids zoomed past, grinding the rails while others practiced flips and tricks. Ginger took a moment to watch in awe. This was the place where dreams met determination. It brought back memories of her past falls, how scared she had felt, but also how triumphant she had been when she pushed herself to get back on the board again. Ready to join them? Danny asked, nudging her lightly. She hesitated for just a second. The crowd looked intimidating, but the charm in her pocket felt warm against her palm, pushing her forward. Yeah, I'm ready. With a deep breath, she rolled onto the smooth concrete, her heart racing as her wheels hit the ground. It was like flying. A smile spread across her face as she cruised effortlessly, the wind swirling around her, the freedom rushing into her spirit. Let us go for the ramp, Danny shouted, excitement evident in his voice. Ginger nodded, her confidence growing. You could do this. You've got this. As they approached the ramp, she felt the adrenaline kick in. Danny shouted encouragements from the side, and she focused on navigating the incline. Ginger landed her first attempt with a graceful swoop, pumping her fists in victory. Laughter erupted from her lips, all fears fading away. See, Danny cheered. You're doing it. Ginger was filled with a sense of pride. But just as she prepared for another pass, she saw a group of older kids watching. Their faces were shadowed with skepticism, and unease began to creep into her stomach. What if they didn't respect her? What if they laughed? Hey little girl. Watch out. One of them called out, grinning as if they were about to challenge her. Ginger paused, heart thrumming in her chest. Danny's supportive gaze pushed her forward. She could feel the weight of the charm in her pocket, reminding her of her journey, of facing fears and rising stronger. With every ounce of courage, she decided not to let them dim her fire. Just watch me, she shouted back, determination spilling from her voice. She took off again, soaring towards the ramp. This time, confidence surged as she took the leap even higher. The world seemed to slow around her until she hit the peak and pushed off. The thrill of the moment engulfed her, and for just a heartbeat, she felt invincible. But as she descended, she misjudged the landing. Her board slipped out from under her. The ground rose to meet her too quickly, the thud echoing through the park, and gasps filled the air. For a moment everything paused. Pain shot up her arm, but through the haze she caught glimpses of the worried faces around her, especially Danny, who was sprinting toward her. Would this be another setback? Or would she rise again? Ginger's heart was racing, and she realized she had a choice to make. The support of her family buzzed in her mind. As Danny reached her side, she whispered, "Could this really be the test?" Ginger lay on the ground, the world feeling like a whirlwind around her. Danny knelt beside her, eyes wide with concern. "Ginger, are you okay?" His voice broke through the fog in her head. "I think so." On instinct, she moved her arm to push herself up, but a sharp jolt of pain shot up from her wrist. "Ouch! Just don't move it too much," Danny said, gently helping her to sit up. The sun felt hotter now. A few kids had gathered, whispering and gazing down at her. Ginger fought the urge to pull her skateboard closer, to hide behind it. "I can't believe I fell," she murmured, feeling a mixture of embarrassment and frustration. All that courage she had summoned seemed to evaporate like mist in the sun. The older kids were still watching, their earlier taunts ringing in her ears. Danny's reassuring presence calmed her. "You were amazing. You soared. That was gutsy." He gave her a small smile, trying to rekindle her confidence. "Just a little tumble. Happens to the best of us." Ginger managed a weak smile in response. "Yeah, but it hurts. Hang tight. I'll get help." He dashed off to find an adult, leaving Ginger to navigate the unsettling silence. The buzz of laughter and chatter continued around her, but it felt distant now. She focused on her breathing, trying to ease the tension pooling in her chest. Moments later, her parents appeared, their worried faces making her heart lurch. "Ginger!" Mama exclaimed, rushing to her side. "What happened?" I just fell," she said, trying to downplay the moment and failing. It felt like a lump in her throat might turn into tears at any second. "Let me take a look at that wrist," Papa said, kneeling beside her. "How does it feel?" "It's sore. I think I landed weird." She winced as Papa gently touched her wrist, checking for swelling. The tenderness made her feel so fragile. She hated this feeling. "This is a test, right?" she wondered aloud, glancing from her parents to her skateboard. "A test to see if I can be brave?" Mama smiled softly, brushing hair out of Ginger's face. "You're already brave, sweetheart. It takes courage to try again, to get back up after you fall. That's what really matters." Danny returned, out of breath. "They're sending someone over to help. You're gonna be okay," he reassured her. His eyes sparkled with unwavering support, as if he believed in her more than she believed in herself. Ginger nodded, feeling a swell of gratitude for her friends and family. Maybe it was all part of the ride. She had fallen, sure. But she also had people who cared about her, who encouraged her to rise. That thought warmed her heart. When the adult arrived, they wrapped her wrist gently and suggested rest. Ginger took a deep breath. "So what now?" she asked, her thoughts racing. "Does this mean I can't skate for a while?" "Just a little break," Papa said, handing her the skateboard gently. "You'll be back on it before you know it. Remember, every skater has their falls. What's important is that you keep going." Danny smiled. "I'll be right here cheering you on." Hope flickered in her heart. This was where she could push through, find strength again. As she rested, the energy in the park shifted, and a spark of determination ignited within her. "I'll get back on that board. I'll prove to them I can do it." Danny nudged her gently. "And when you do, I want to see that jump again, okay?" Ginger grinned. "Definitely." But deep down, she wondered what hurdles awaited her in the future. Would she truly overcome this fear and rise stronger? With each beat of her heart, the answer was becoming clear. And her journey was only just beginning. The following weeks passed, each day marked with a rhythm of recovery and reflection. Ginger rested her wrist, but she let her spirit soar with dreams of what was to come. She bounced back into the community's warm embrace, sharing laughter and hope at the diner and the skate park, her spirit lifted by family and friends. As she healed, her focus shifted. No longer just about the skateboard tricks, she began to appreciate the small victories that filled her life. The charming laughter of neighbors, the simple pleasure of hanging out with Danny, the way her parents smiled a little brighter each day, all these moments helped her rediscover herself. One day, while frolicking in the park, her usual lively energy surged back. Ginger glanced at the nearby skate ramp, its surface gleaming under the sun. A familiar excitement filled her with determination. Her wrist was stronger now, and the board awaited her, shiny and colorful. "Are you ready for this?" Danny asked, his eyes dancing with anticipation. Definitely. It's time to show what I've got, she declared, feeling the infectious support of their friends gathering around. This wasn't just a comeback. It was her moment of rebirth. The memories of past tumbles flashed through her mind, the fears whispering warnings. But this time they didn't linger. Instead, she felt the love of her community surrounding her, like an invisible shield. With a steady inhale, Ginger positioned her feet on the board. The warm sun bathed her in light as she rolled forward. The sounds of laughter and cheers filled the air, swirling around her, as if the universe conspired to cheer her on. She glided confidently, feeling the ground beneath her, gaining speed, her heart swelling with passion. Reaching the ramp, she focused on her breathing. Everything fell silent in her mind as she pushed off from the edge. The world faded away, and for a moment, it was just her and the sky. Up she went, higher than she had ever flown before. Gravity welcomed her back with open arms, and she landed evenly, a pure expression of joy radiating from her face. The crowd erupted into cheers, a wave of disbelief and excitement washing over her. "Yes, you did it," Danny shouted, rushing over to her with wide eyes, his excitement infectious. Ginger stood tall, beaming with pure pride. Her heart was light, lifting her spirit higher than the ramp ever could. The fear that once held her back melted away. This moment was about more than just the skateboarding triumph. It was a testament to love, perseverance, and community support. "You're unstoppable," Mama called from the sidelines, her voice rich with admiration. As Ginger basked in the exhilarating sense of accomplishment, she spotted her parents, witnessing her moment of glory. Mama held the silver heart charm, now draped around her wrist, a symbol of their bond that had fueled Ginger through every struggle. Taking a brief pause, Ginger's heart brimmed with gratitude. The hardships they had faced as a family, the shared laughter, and the tears had woven a tapestry of strength she was proud of. This wasn't just her victory. It was their collective journey. Yet, as the adrenaline buzzed within, a thought sparked a wave of excitement. What if this was only the beginning? The world of skateboarding stretched ahead, filled with challenges and opportunities she hadn't even begun to explore. "I want to learn more tricks," Ginger exclaimed, eyes shining with determination. "Yes," Danny chimed in, "we can film your progress, create tutorials. You'll inspire others." The idea lit a fire in Ginger's heart. She wouldn't just reclaim her skateboard dreams. She would share them with the world, encouraging others to rise after each fall, every setback a chance to learn and grow. The sky glimmered above, and as the sun dipped low, casting golden streaks across the horizon, Ginger felt a radiant sense of clarity. Skating was about freedom, joy, and the beautiful unpredictability of life. "Let us do this together," she declared, and the crowd erupted in cheers once more. But this time she felt something deeper. Within, an unshakable bond with her community, a shared purpose lifting them all. That night, as stars twinkled overhead, Ginger strapped her skateboard against her side and made a clear promise. She would forge a path that not only honored her journey but inspired others to find their own wings. Every fall would just lead to a new rise, and with family and friends beside her, she was ready for whatever came next. If she could face the unknown, so could they. And so, with love fueling her spirit and dreams illuminating her path, Ginger rolled off into the future, her heart full of determination, ready to carve out a world where every fall became the foundation for soaring higher than ever before. Now it's your turn to take action. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories that will inspire you. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us reach more hearts. Comment your reactions and feelings about Ginger's incredible journey. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share. Only true fans understand how vital every action is for our channel.